Do you feel like you have adequate resources available to you in the community to maintain your mental well-being? If so, what resources are available and how are these resources beneficial or lacking? So I'm currently a student at UBC and there are many resources available for mental health. However, I don't believe that they might be adequate just because I have many friends who have tried to use these resources and they've found it difficult to either find appointments or just struggled with systematic problems. Also, coming from a smaller community, I was more used to that sense of everybody's looking out for you, everybody would know if something was wrong with regards to even your mental health. So just moving to a bigger place, I didn't feel like I had that same sense of community, and I feel like that could be something that schools or communities could work on while incorporating new people from the outside, just to make them feel like they're being looked out for.
Personally, I've been very privileged in the sense that I've always felt that I have a lot of resources available to me in terms of maintaining my own mental well-being and also promoting my own self-care. Personally, I've had a very good support group in terms of friends and family available that I always felt like I've been comfortable enough to talk to or approach, or to whether it's talking about my own mental well-being or also just providing thoughts and stresses about my daily life. But in a broader sense, with the community, I've always felt that UBC has provided a lot of different resources that are really great in terms of promoting my own mental health.
For the first question, both yes and no. I feel like I have... So the reasoning for my answer is because I feel like I have resources available to me, but they're not necessarily community resources. I have my family, I have my religious and spiritual beliefs, which is primarily what I use, and especially when my family aren't around. So it's not necessarily something that I would have in terms of resources from university or from any other, I would say, authority, but it's mostly a personal aspect that I know and I see a lot of my peers lacking in. And so these resources, I just mentioned them, they're beneficial in different ways, but they're also lacking because sometimes, as I mentioned, I haven't found the resources, for example, from university to be really accessible.
What can schools and communities do better to help students who are stressed? What are they doing well already? I realized that as a student myself, a huge source of stress is grades and marks. And educational facilities such as my alma mater, Sir Winston Churchill, did really well to ensure that resources were available for perhaps academic performance to become less of a stressor for some individuals. However, there's more to be done. Although that area was very well covered and is being well covered and advanced by various schools and communities, I realized that there's also a sore lack of resources spent to dealing with the diversity that exists in Canada. A lot of my friends come from a variety of backgrounds, and I realized that it's important for people to acknowledge the fact that mental health is experienced differently by people of different ethnic and cultural backgrounds.
In terms of the community, I think that there just needs to be more funding towards mental health care. I've worked in government offices before, and you know, if a constituent has a mental health issue, there's frankly no space at hospitals. They don't deal with that, and I'm from Delta, so I believe the nearest facility that provides mental care and psychiatric care was in Surrey.
Well, I'll start with what they're doing well already. Secondary schools have counselors who are great for providing safe spaces for students to talk about any issues in their life, and I think that's really important. And I know universities have similar programs and people in place. But something that I think we could do better is promoting more often that these programs and people are there to help. So often I know there are students who feel really stressed and overwhelmed, but they don't go for help because they feel like they'll be seen as weak. And I don't think that's true. I think it's a sign of strength because that shows that you recognize something's wrong and getting help can be the first step to fixing it.
Are you involved in any initiatives dealing with youth mental health? If so, which ones and what do they do?
So as a student leader on campus, obviously student leaders, we talk a lot about mental health and how we can better advocate for mental health and obviously speak to UBC staff and administration. So currently in SAS, the Science Undergrad Society, we are pushing for a midterm course evaluation feedback survey. And so obviously on that survey, we are going to ask profs to ask their students about how they're doing in terms of teaching, but we also want to have a section where it asks students about how they're doing in terms of their mental health, if they're being stressed about a course, what kind of accommodations do they want so that they can be better supported by the prof and by the course coordinators themselves.
I'm the founder and president of the Youth Mental Health Association, and essentially what we aim to do is to establish youth hubs throughout Canada and to create a community of youth that is engaged in the topic of mental health through this manner. Furthermore, by leveraging our community of youth, we hope to empower youth to become innovators in the mental health sector. And I realize that a variety of organizations already seek to do so, but I aim to make sure that we can work with these organizations to ensure that youth can establish their talents and themselves as perhaps one of the leading bodies in the fight to ensure that mental health is better addressed in our society's future.